With the DURALAST Cup Series Season 3 Daytona 500 just around the corner, it's a great time to go back and review some of these raced version customs from last season. Here's Kyle Larson's 2019 Atlanta NASCAR DURALAST Cup Series race-winning DC Solar Chevrolet Camaro. Howdy, howdy folks, it is Diecastbuffet here again with a custom NASCAR DURALAST Cup Series race-winning car. It is Kyle Larson's 2019 Bass Pro Shops 500 race-winning DC Solar Chevrolet Camaro. Now, this was ran at Atlanta Motor Speedway. This is a car that literally I built God knows how many months ago. And I'll be honest with you, I just didn't even mess with it. It just kind of just sat on my shelf. And yeah, you know, that's unfortunate, but I tell you what, man, for some of these DURALAST Cup Series race-winning cars, I put it in a little display case, right? Sometimes I use the Gold Series box, but in this case, I wanted to use the display case. So you got NASCAR DURALAST Cup Series here. These are also clear-coated, so they're protected. I got Kyle Larson here. Of course, Kyle Larson, well, I'll be honest with you, folks. Kyle Larson was going to win the championship in the NASCAR DURALAST Cup Series for Season 2. I mean, the dude was just, he was like 5 points out from the championship lead when he got suspended, obviously, to the controversy earlier this year. And, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do, man. You just can't have that. And I honestly thought he was gonna win the championship. So it was kind of crazy to have to suspend him from the DURALAST Cup Series. But I tell you what, if he ever does come back to NASCAR, and gets a full-time ride, I would put him back in this. I got Bass Pro Shops 500 logo right there. So, I mean, you know, this is a really cool car because this is one of my favorite cars from 2019. Probably my favorite, to be honest with you, is this DC Solar special car that did not get ran. This was supposed to be his primary, I think, for 2019, ironically enough. So I freaking love this car. I even bought a spare one. I got one that I already reviewed. I got this one, and then I have one that's still in the box mint because I freaking love this car. I'll be honest with you, I love this paint scheme. It's one of my favorite ones ever. Of course, you got Bass Pro Shops 500 winner, Atlanta Motor Speedway, August 18th, 2019. Hard to believe that's, well, 11 months ago. This car was in Victory Lane. I'll have a link down below to the DURALAST Cup Series Race 2 of Season 2. You can check that out down below in the description. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get the case off this and get into the diecast review. Alrighty, folks, so here we are out of the case. I mean, just a very, very coated confetti job here. Now, this is the old confetti system. I'll show you the new confetti system that I'm working with. This is Kyle Larson's second DURALAST Cup Series win. This was the Richmond throwback event. You can see how it's much more realistic. It's actual paper, right? Actual paper. Obviously, this one's far more detailed. It has a actual window net. It also has driver seat belts as well. That one's far more detailed, but this was a old custom that I've been really working on for practically a year now. And I tell you what, this one is very detailed, even though it's one of my more dated ones. Obviously, you got the 2018-2019 Camaro body. I tell you what, the front nose on these Camaros is just absolutely freaking beautiful. You know, it might not have been the best race car on the track, but I tell you what, from an aggressive styling point, it's absolutely beautiful. And you know, with these NASCAR DURALAST Cup Series race-winning customs, you know, we kind of have to do the Race Day 2011 review where, you know how you review some of those Spark models and he keeps it on the base and he moves it around. That's how I feel right now, so shout out to the homie right there, Mr. Robbie Newton. But the whole nose is covered in this confetti, and the confetti, I'll be honest with you, it's pretty much a glitter, right? It's very cheap. It doesn't look the best. It's pretty reflective, but this is kind of, you know, a little bit of the DURALAST Cup Series history, you know? At that time, we were using the blue and silver. Now I like creating the confetti based on the actual race, right? So if it's like, let's say it's sponsored by Monster Energy, I would want to use like lime green and black confetti, right? And if it's like sponsored by, let's say, Caterpillar for some reason, I'd want to use yellow, right? That's just me. So over here, the nose, you get the whole hood is coated in that confetti. You got the bow tie there. You got the beautiful 42 there. You got Moog, Mail, Comp, Edelbrock, Sunoco. Got a little bit of some racewear grime. This was Atlanta Motor Speedway, and this was the second race of the season. You know, Ryan Newman won the Daytona 500. If you want to see that race-winning car for the DURALAST Cup Series Season 2, you can check that out. And also, the DURALAST Cup Series coming back later this month, July 30th. You could tune in for that. It's going to be incredible. The Daytona Duels July 30th, and then August 2nd, the DURALAST Cup Series Daytona 500. But Atlanta is going to be moving back in the season. It's going to not be the second race. It's going to be closer to the end of the season. So you can see a little bit of confetti, a little bit of some more race wear grime right there. Very, very clean nose. You can see just a haze of dirt above the headlights, though. And then over here to the left side of this car, I mean, just this thing is coated, man. This is a coated confetti job here. I mean, you can just see the detail of this freaking right rear. And I'm going to try to zoom in a little bit. It might be hard to see. I'm going to increase the brightness here so you can see it. But you can really see all the grooves. And what I wanted is a completely done shred job. I just want the entire left rear to just rip apart. Not bend the metal. I want it to rip apart the left rear here. And you can see that pretty potent. Very similar to the Martin Truex Jr. Chicagoland raced version we did. Of course, you know, I'll have a link down below to that as well. That's a very cool custom I did. But yeah, you can see how the left front, you know, it's just a little bit of some dirt there. Of course, this is before we started weathering these cars as well. So the dirt and grime effects is paint, right? It's not actual, you know, dirt effects that we use nowadays, you know, special effects. So it was much harder, and it's a little bit more unrealistic the way this one's coated. I mean, you can see all over the 42, you've got some dirt and grime on the splitter there from, you know, pit road and just, you know, bits of debris across the racetrack. I mean, just so much detail. I mean, you got a little bit of some contingencies there. You got, you know, Lincoln Welders, Mechanics Wear, 3M, NASCAR race car. Of course, you got Kyle Larson on the roof. Over here on the B post, you got Coca-Cola. Can't read that one too well. Almost looks like a Stuart Haas Racing logo there, ironically enough. Maybe a little bit of some fortune telling there. Of course, you got DC Solar right there on the left rear, and then over here on the bottom portion of the race car, I think it's Sherwin-Williams down there. I get Credit One Bank. This whole fender piece is actually bent in as well. So that part was actually bent, top of the fender well. It is literally torn. Like, you can see the bite marks. Alrighty, folks. So over here to the back end of this race car, and you can just see you got a little bit more confetti over here on the back end of the car. You know, it doesn't look that good because the way the confetti is, like I said, it's like a glitter. It's like a sequin, right? You know, it's not like the confetti we use nowadays, which is literally paper. So it's actually quite realistic, honestly. It's quite realistic to it, which is always nice for that little bit of authenticity. Of course, you got DC Solar right there. A few scrapes on the back end, but nothing too bad right there. Pretty clean back end besides the confetti. I mean, I'm just telling you, look how much damage is on that right rear. I'm just saying, look at the right rear, look at the left rear. We already showed the left rear. You can just see how much damage is really on this race car. Let me zoom in a little bit here. You can just really see it here. And I'll tell you what, man, that is incredible amount of damage right there to a back end of a Camaro, I tell you. Little grooves, the cutouts there, you know, obviously that's from, you know, me sawing away at it. But you can even see the little side skirt down there. That's even bent out. So, I mean, the whole back tires are just completely roached on this car, I tell you. I mean, the tires are just blown out. I mean, this was honestly a pretty clean race car. And, you know, after doing the back tire blowout, really put a lot of dirt, a lot of rubber and all that good jazz on the back end of the race car. Didn't really roll in the fender on this side, kind of, you know, maybe just a tad bit, kind of chipped it off right there. But the main part of this is obviously around that fender well, and you can even see the big cutout on that side skirt. I mean, it's even knocked that out of place. So, I mean, very heavy damage. But again, this is supposed to be, you know, after the race is over and, you know, he's doing the burnouts, and then he goes down and gets some confetti. And then over here to the roof of this race car, of course, I'm holding this thing sideways, so hopefully it doesn't come loose. But, I mean, you can see how the 42 there, it's pretty well covered, pretty well. I mean, like, this was a heavy confetti job here. I mean, this thing definitely got caked in it, and that's what I was wanting. I wanted a heavy confetti job for this one. So you got the 42 there, you got the DC Solar logo right there on the roof flaps. Of course, you know, the deck lid, you can barely even see the DC Solar logo there. You can also see a little bit of interior detail here. The interior on this race car is painted. Like, you can see inside the driver's side window here. See if I can try to get a good view of it. You can see the stick shift right there, right? That's actually painted. The steering wheel. Even over here on the dashboard, you can see some red and some silver. So that's painted as well. Unfortunately, though, I wasn't able to get the seat belts into this car. You know, I like to add the seat belts to these Race to Win customs because this was built prior to me doing that. So, of course, I didn't go back and update it because, you know, it is a dated custom. But, you know what? I mean, detail is detail. And for the future cars, absolutely. I mean, definitely the Kyle Larson Richmond car is going to have that. Kyle Larson's big win at Atlanta Motor Speedway in the NASCAR DURALAST Cup Series really, I mean, honestly, kicked off a very likely championship season. Unfortunately, things do happen, and it was Ryan Newman who took home the championship as Larson was suspended with 3 races to go. But I decided to go back and still make this car. I wanted to make sure that this custom was done because this was a beautiful race car. And to think that I actually won the race, I wanted to do this custom build. I had the first race win car from the Daytona 500. I got that reviewed. You can see that down below in the description. Then we got this one right here, which is the second race of the 2019/20 season. So, I mean, absolutely a very confetti-heavy race car. A lot of damage on the back end, but I'm just so glad to finally get this Bass Pro Shops 500 race-winning car done. Hope you're having an amazing day out there. Like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what y'all think about this custom down below in the comment section down below. Diecastbuffet, signing off.